anyone dares try to test my mental competence, I will eviscerate every single person with my intelligence right now.
As the court prepares to be eviscerated, the rest of us are left wondering what exactly is going on with this man. I mean, how did he go from 0 to 100 and then from 100 back to 0 in the court? And why does he think eviscerating anyone is the solution he needs right now? The clip you just saw is an important part of this story, but the story didn't start there. One quick question before we go into the details. Have you ever seen the man in this clip?
I've been sober from alcohol for 1,558 days, so to press me on a DUI, I'm a public figure.
I mean, he says he's a public figure, and if you don't know him, you're just not one of his 2.7 million subscribers here on YouTube. I looked through his YouTube channel with the name Eric Van Conover, so you can hit the subscribe button and not pause this video to look him up. And I discovered that he makes some of the coolest real estate videos I have ever seen, talking about rare and expensive properties, with some valued at 28 million and some a whopping $500 million. That's not all about his page though. Sometimes he posts about his lifestyle, his fitness journey, and some poorly aged content like this one.
1,444 days sober from alcohol today.
This video was uploaded on January 25th, and by March 25th, Eric was already in court defending himself against DWI charges. It all started on March 15th, when Eric was spotted driving his Jeep Wrangler at about 55 miles per hour in a 35 miles per hour zone. Since that is against the law, a police officer named Cameron Emmett attempted to stop his car. However, Eric didn't stop until he drove 8 miles more. That sounds like the end, but no. This guy started driving again, and later stopped for the second time. This time, Officer Emmett thought Eric was ready to have a conversation, so the officer approached his car. But unfortunately, Eric had a sinister plan. He allegedly backed his vehicle rapidly, pointed it directly at Officer Emmett, and accelerated at him, striking him at a reasonably high rate of speed. Now, that hit allegedly sent Officer Emmett flying between 20 and 40 feet. Wait, what? 40 feet? For comparison, a semi-truck is about 40 feet long, and if you can't visualize that, think of a fishing boat, a school bus, or a shipping container. That is life-threatening, and in case you're wondering if that is even possible, this is what Eric's Jeep Wrangler looks like. Now you see, if he actually backed his vehicle rapidly and proceeded with a high speed, the impact would be severe. While it sounds like we can just sentence Eric from the corners of our rooms, the case is not as simple as it sounds. Now, Eric is saying the cops are taking him for someone else, and here's why. Initially, the cops stated that Eric Conover was from Absecon, New Jersey, but Eric claimed he's from New York, which means that all of this was probably just a misunderstanding. Actually, curiosity made me dig around to see if there's actually another person who looks like Eric and bears the same name. And guess what? I found something. On the Shorty Awards website, there's this article about an Eric Conover who is a New York-based videographer, photographer, and global adventurer. He was a finalist in Vlogger of the Year at the 9th Annual Shorty Awards. However, none of these videos about his best work is available on YouTube. That's kind of suspicious, but hey, that's just me being nosy. You can also look it up and let us know if you think they are the same people, or if that's just another person who looks like him, and probably the one who should be arrested instead of this Eric in a blue prison uniform. Aside from claiming mistaken identity, Eric also mentioned that the cops are only trying to sting him because he's a YouTuber and a public figure. I really don't know why he thinks that the cops have a thing against YouTubers or public figures, but he really emphasized that in court, stating the number of subscribers he has. However, the police are not fazed, and that's probably because of the evidence against Eric. First off, days before he allegedly attempted to murder an officer, he had been arrested on a DWI charge and taken into custody for the same reason. However, according to reports, he was released to go home after identification. This led to speculation that Eric was probably avoiding arrest, possibly because he was driving with influence again. Regardless of what the authorities found in his blood, if they did any test at all, his initial DWI case still stands. Next is the video evidence the police have against Eric, and I'm not talking about just body cam footage, but an actual drone capturing the whole thing. According to reports, an amateur drone operator was in the air when he saw the interaction and was able to capture it on video. Not sure how the drone operator would feel about the authorities calling him an amateur, but the saddest part is that this footage is not released to the public. Apart from the drone operator, a witness also saw the incident and captured a part of it on camera. His name is Keith Wright. He was rollerblading on Route 302 with his GoPro when he heard sirens. Keith pulled off to the side of the road, sat on the guardrails, and pressed the GoPro button so it was recording at the time Eric's Jeep was being chased. 236. If you're wondering why Keith's first instinct was to record, that's because high-speed chases are unusual on that road. Now that we have laid down every piece of evidence, let's go back to Eric's reaction in court. At his arraignment, Eric adamantly said he would eviscerate anyone who dares to test his mental capacity, and the next thing, he is crying to his mom while his parents try to comfort him.
Mom, thank God, look at me!
Another part of the released footage also shows him saying the Lord's Prayer.
Our Father who art in heaven.
These series of actions lead to the speculation that Eric may have schizophrenia. Also, on one of his social media accounts, he posted a picture of himself holding a drug and captioned it, "Yeah, the pharmaceutical industry tried to gaslight me that I needed medication too, when all you need is some discipline of your emotional state." Seems Eric didn't get the discipline after all. Maybe he just didn't use his drugs. His condition got worse, and he's in denial because he claims that he had been sober from alcohol for 1,558 days. However, his sobriety is being questioned considering his deadly act towards a police officer. Fortunately, the police officer didn't have life-threatening injuries and has been released from the hospital. That still counts as an attempted murder. And in addition to that, Eric faces charges of DWI, reckless conduct with a deadly weapon, and first-degree assault. He has been asked to remain in preventive detention until the court decides his fate. Not sure he's getting out of this, but he seems pretty confident. What do you think?